So, another Colleen Hoover book to movie. Hopefully, this one ends up slightly less controversial than the last. Welcome back, or if you are new here, welcome. My name is Katrina, and I make bookish as well as film content here on this channel every week. And I love making book versus movie videos. It's my favorite kind of video to make. Obviously, it does take a little bit more effort, but I will leave a playlist of my book versus movie videos that I have put out. There's been a couple recently, which is really nice. I feel like there was a long period where there just wasn't anything coming. But yes, I went and watched Regretting You at the cinema. I listened to the audiobook first in preparation for the film coming out, and then went to go and watch it in the cinema just by myself. And yes, interesting. I think that this one, I mean, pretty much like the last Colleen Hoover film, this one pretty much sticks to the book. And I checked, and she was a script supervisor or did write the script. She was heavily involved with the script anyway. Like, her name came up with script and her name. And so I think that that is probably the reason for this, not to come like straight out with a this is how it compares. It's pretty much the same. But this one surrounds two generations of women and their kind of like coming of age moments and their pivotal moments in the story. So we have a mother who has had a child quite young, and we see her at the beginning of the film with her partner, who we then see later on in the film. She has then subsequently married. That's not a spoiler, it's literally in the trailer. And then we get to know her daughter. And it was quite nice because when I read the book, I didn't know at the end of the kind of prologue, first section of the book, that, you know, she was definitely going to then have this daughter. Had I not seen the trailer, I was like, is that the same person from the trailer or not? So we have those two, and then we have her sister Jenny and her sort of on again, off again partner, who in the 17 years later section of the film, that's the majority of the film and the majority of the book, has then subsequently had a baby with him. So there is a big tragedy occurs at the beginning of the film and the book, post us finding out that said baby has been born. And that is what the film sort of all centers around. So it's very much a like finding identity, coming of age, having that second coming of age when you find yourself independent for almost the first time in your life story, and then the coming of age story for the daughter who we get to follow in the second section of the book and the film. So yeah, I mean, I wasn't a huge fan of the book. Like, it was fine. I was always going to finish it. It wasn't one that I would have DNF'd, but I didn't find myself getting excited and going back to the audiobook. Like, oh, I've got a minute now while I'm doing something. I could just put my headphones on and listen to the audiobook. It was like, okay, I'm in the car now. We'll listen to the audiobook. And then it got to the point where it was like, okay, I've got my tickets to see the film now. We need to finish the audiobook. So we're going to listen to it. And then the same point with the film as well. There was no point where I was like, oh, I'm really not enjoying this, I'm going to leave. And it wasn't one of those films where I looked at my watch extensively. It was quite a busy screening of the film. There was like a large party of 7 women sat almost directly behind me who were very noisy. And so I think the fact that the cinema was quite full of people and quite busy with people who were clearly like into the film or had enjoyed the book or were Colleen Hoover fans. I think that definitely helped with the atmosphere of the film. I think if I was watching this one at home on streaming or something, then I probably would have found myself wandering and myself scrolling my phone. So it wasn't like the most revolutionary film, but it also wasn't anything that I would have walked out of. And as I said at the beginning, the film pretty much sticks very closely to the script. The biggest differences for me was the very beginning section. Again, I'm very aware that a film has significantly less time to tell you details about characters than a book does. But the very beginning section, the book goes into a lot more detail. And so you instantly, with our like adult characters for the rest of the book, you instantly have that affinity with them because you feel like you knew them like before. You knew them as 16, 17, 18-year olds. And so when you see them as 34, 35, 36-year olds, you do have a little bit more like empathy with them. You do find yourself on their side a little bit more in the book than in the film, because the film just shows one very brief snippet. um and there's a theme running through of these watermelon Jolly Ranchers. And again, I'm not going to say, why they're significant or give any spoilers about, but the Jolly Rancher theme is a lot more like set up and established in the book than it is in the film. So it does come up in the film, but if you'd only watched the film, you'd be like, okay, like why are we now like having this one scene with a Jolly Rancher? Whereas if you've read the book, the Jolly Ranchers come up, sporadically, and are very much established in the prologue of the book, when our adult characters are 17 years old. And then the other thing that really stood out to me as not massive, but a difference between the book and the film was the sort of reactions that our older leads in the film, our older characters, the parents, so to speak, the reactions they have to the big thing that happened were a lot more drawn out and a lot more intense. I don't want to go for extreme, but a lot more significant in the book than they were in the film. So you see them happening, but then with it being the pace of a film as opposed to the pace of a book, those events, you move on from them quite quickly. You're like, oh, it's the next day now, we're on to something new. Or, oh, it's the evening now, so we're over that. And I think that again, like, made the intensity of what happened a little less than when you're listening to the book. But I maybe preferred that they weren't as intense, these reactions, because I found them more believable and I found them more realistic. I think I definitely found the film a lot more realistic than the book. And then the only other major difference happens right at the end, so I really can't talk about it. But there's almost like an epilogue in the book. I don't think it's an actual epilogue, but there's an epilogue in the book of like at the end of the academic year, let's say, like 6 months later. And the like final scene between our younger people, between our teenagers, again, is a lot more drawn out and gone into a lot more detail. And again, it felt a little bit more believable in the book than it did in the film. It was sweet seeing it playing out in the film. It was nicely lit and it was nicely set, and that all the other characters were there. But I definitely preferred the last moments of the film. The first and the last moments of the story I preferred in the book form, whereas the main chunk of it I think I preferred in the film form, just because it felt a little bit more believable. It felt a little bit more real to me, and I was more able to like accept what was going on. Whereas in the book, I was sometimes a little bit like, would this have happened this way though? Would they have let you do that? Would this have happened? Would you have found that out so quickly? So yeah, so I mean, that's kind of like the main comparisons for me. I think if you were then saying, right, would you rather read the book again or would you rather watch the film again? I think I would probably rather watch the film again. But overall, I don't think I would pick up this book or watch this film ever again. I was just intrigued to read it, having seen that they'd made a film out of it. I kind of, especially I think with the controversy surrounding the previous Colleen Hoover film adaptation, I'm not going to lie, I bought into that controversy. So yeah, so as always, if there is a particular book or film you would like me to watch, read, or TV show that you would like me to watch and read, do let me know in comments. I'm more than happy to do that on demand. I do enjoy making these videos, even though they take a little bit more effort, a little bit more time, but I'm always excited for them. And yeah, I will be back with another video for you very soon. So if you enjoyed this one, give it a thumbs up, make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I will be back very, very soon. So I will see you then. Thanks for watching.